Hi, I'm Chris Carter, course developer and instructor at Point Blank. This tutorial gives you a flavour of what you can expect on our online courses. If you want to develop your music production skills further, head to Point Blank Music School to find out more about the courses we offer in London, Los Angeles, Ibiza, and online. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to make an 808 bass type sound. This is a very simple sound, but it's a classic that still crops up in lots of genres. So what we have here is a default patch, and what I'm going to do is firstly change this wavetable to a sine square and move this all the way to sine. And we'll also drop down the oscillator pitch by a couple of octaves. I could do that quite easily just by pressing Alt and dragging the semitone value there. You can see we've now gone down a couple of octaves. And the first thing we'll want to do is give the sound a little bit of punch, because the 808 bass is actually a kick drum sound. So what we're going to do, classic technique for creating percussive sounds, pitch modulation. So I'm going to assign envelope 1 to the pitch there, and what I'll need to do is define some kind of range to modulate that pitch. I'm just going to start with a couple of octaves. And obviously that's far too slow, and it's also not falling all the way down to the bottom as we would like. So I'm just going to take off the attack and the decay. And you can see quite quickly we're starting to get there if I just bypass that pitch modulation. Just a sine wave. So what this means is we can vary the amount of pitch modulation and we can vary the decay time, and just those two variables will give us a range of different results of the type of 808 sound that we can get. So for instance, a quicker decay, perhaps a greater range. Perhaps the next thing we would like to do is think about the decay of the amp. So I'm going to move over to envelope 4 here. And there's a couple of important options. One is we could use the decay level. And one option that can be quite useful here is this linear decay. So that just gives us a slightly different shape to the fade out of the sound. But the thing about an 808 sound is typically it's a one-shot sound, which means that we just tap a key or play a MIDI note for any duration of time and the whole note plays. So what this means is I'm going to turn up the release time. So we have a nice fade on the sound, but now we have overlapping bass notes, and this is no good. So what I'm going to do is go to the voicing tab and switch the sound to monophonic, and as you can see I only have a single note playing at a time. So what this means now, my notes don't overlap and clash. You might have noticed that some of my kick drums have a click on the front and some don't. The reason for this is the oscillators are free running. So what that means is I'm going to go to the oscillator tab, turn on restart via gate, so that the sine wave always triggers from the same point, in this case a zero crossing. But what this means now is we seem to have a clicking every time, and I can get rid of this by going to the voicing tab and changing it to mono rotate, so that we're not using the same voice every time we trigger a new note. What this means is we'll be using a different voice of the 16 maximum that we've set. Finally, I might want to give the sound some drive or subtle distortion. There's a few ways that I could do this. Firstly, I could turn on the feedback circuit and increase the feedback level, compensating for the louder level by reducing the master. Or maybe what I could do is add some distortion on one of the effects here. We've got the 3 tubes, which each give us a slightly different character of overdrive. Finally, I also have distortion effects down here on the inserts in the form of these shapers and clippers. Or maybe what I could do is go for a combination of all 3. So between these various different parameters, that's quite a lot of variables that we can put into our 808 kick drum.